My name is Kate Stewart. I'm the Council Vice President and District 4 Representative, and I want to welcome you this morning to our proclamation for International Pronoun Day. And before we get into remarks, I'm going to ask all the folks who are here to just quickly introduce themselves, and then we'll begin. Jessica, we'll start with you.
Good morning. My name is Jessica Wilson. Early, easy, hard. My pronouns are she, her, and I have the honor of working for CCI Health Services, a community health center based throughout Montgomery County.
Good morning. My name is Will Green. I'm the senior pastor at Silver Spring United Methodist Church. My pronouns are he, him. Our congregation is particularly committed to addressing the needs of our LGBTQA community through housing and building affordable housing on our campus in the coming years.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mark Eckstein. My pronouns are he, him, and I'm a parent here, and we have students at MCPS.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Philip Alexander Downey. My pronouns are he, him, and I am the CEO of the Montgomery County Pride Family, MoCo Pride Center, Inc.
Good morning, all. My name is Olu Adebayo. My pronouns are he, him. I am the executive director at Rainbow Place Shelter. We're in the process of building out a young adult shelter for those 18 to 24, primarily members of the LGBTQIA plus community.
Good morning. I'm Lionel Sussman. I'm Mark's husband. My pronouns are he, him, and L.
Good morning. My name is Lee Blinder. I use they, them pronouns, and I'm the executive director of Trans Maryland, which is a part of the MoCo Pride family. And also I'm the chair of the Maryland Commission on LGBTQI plus affairs.
Good morning, everyone. My name is MPs. I use they, she, and Z pronouns. I am the Director of Research and Assessment at Trans Maryland, as well as a Commissioner on the Maryland Commission for LGBTQIA Affairs and a PhD student in counseling psychology at the University of Maryland. Really excited to be here.
Hi, everyone. My name is Brooke Petrillo. My pronouns are she, they, he, and I'm a Programs and Outreach Coordinator at Living Your Truth.
Welcome to all of our guests. I'm Kristen Mink, County Councilmember for District 5. I'm going to hand it back to our Vice President.
Great, and I'm going to put too many things in my hand. Again, I'm Kate Stewart, pronouns she, her, and welcome everyone today. This is the second year in a row that the Council has recognized International Pronoun Day. And it's so important that we do this every year to remind ourselves of the actions that we can take to be an inclusive community. So in many languages around the world, people use pronouns to identify and refer to others. And lots of times in different languages, pronouns generally have a gender implied. So he generally refers to a man or boy, she refers to a girl or a woman. However, these associations are not always correct, and when we make assumptions, we're not always correct in that. And we want to make sure that when we call someone, like we do by their name, their pronouns, it's the ones that they want to be called by. And so today we are lifting up the importance of that and taking action to not only use our words, but to actually do something. And so we have pins today, if anyone would like to take a pin and wear their pronoun. We also have a handout here on ways that members of our community can take action. So there are simple things like practicing, asking people their pronouns, and we all use email, and you have a signature in your email. You can include your pronouns in that signature, and like many of us do, put a link to why we use pronouns, and it's important in our community. This was something that was actually asked when we did our LGBTQ plus community survey last year. Dr. Amina Johnson couldn't be here with us today, but she led that effort. And when our LGBTQ plus community was asked, what are some things we can do for all of you? Visibility and using pronouns and having events like this were the top responses we received. And so we really want to reflect on what the community is asking us to do as we work with them to fight back against the hate and misunderstandings that are out there. And unfortunately, I said this last year when we were here, what's going on in our country right now is I don't even have words, honestly, with what is being passed in policy and legislation that is creating so much hate in our country, directed towards individuals, especially our trans and our gender nonconforming community. And so here in Montgomery County, it is so important that we take the time to do this work and do it with our community. And so with that, I'm going to turn it over to Councilmember Mink.
Thank you to Vice President Kate Stewart for spearheading this effort. It is deeply appreciated and deeply needed at contentious times like these. And I will note that unfortunately, even in recent days, we've seen a couple ads come out from Democratic candidates that contain anti-trans dog whistles in them. So it is really, really important that we continue to stand strong and really be proactively supportive of our LGBTQIA plus community and make it very, very clear that we are going to have no qualms and no shame about making sure that we are standing up for and being inclusive of every single person in our community. Two questions that I am asked by our would-be allies and our not our would-be allies, by our allies who are working to make sure that they are keeping up with the pronouns that people want. Sometimes I hear it's difficult for me. I want to get it right, but they as a singular pronoun is difficult for me. Well, we actually instinctively use they as a singular pronoun when we don't know, for example, who a belonging belongs to. So somebody leaves a backpack out on the playground. Somebody left their backpack outside. That's one person's backpack, but our brain does instinctively use they as a singular pronoun. So it can be done, and there is a part of your brain that already does it. It's just training it to refer to a person when you know what person you're talking about, and that really does just take practice, just talking to yourself and using those sentences, and you will get there, and it is okay that requires practice. You have to give yourself permission to have practice. And relatedly, the other question that I get with some regularity is, what should I do if I mess up? I really want to get it right. I feel really bad when I mess up. And the answer that I have consistently heard is just, please don't make a big deal out of it. We know you want to get it right. Just quickly correct yourself, say the correct pronoun, and keep on moving forward. Don't make a big thing out of it. Just keep practicing and get it right the next time. So thank you all so much. Thank you to Vice President Kate Stewart, to everyone up here who is doing the work. It is much appreciated, and we can, here in Montgomery County and in Maryland, will continue to stand strong together.
Thank you, Councilmember Mink. And now we'll hear from Lee, who I have to say, I don't know if people can see, but is bringing the sparkle this morning. So thank you, Lee.
Thank you so much, Vice President Stewart. Good morning. As mentioned, my name is Lee Blinder. I use they, them pronouns, the aforementioned, sometimes difficult for folks, singular they. And I do agree, a little practice really helps. Sometimes people think that because I am a member of the community that I never have to practice anything. It's just somehow like downloaded immediately. And that's definitely not true. I have friends who change pronouns. I still have to do the work. My partner and I, we have a close friend who just changed pronouns and changed their name. And this is someone who I've known for a long time. And so we each correct one another if we mess up. And we're both transgender people. So again, this is like not work for you all separately from us. We also have to do the work. And I'm also a proud non-binary transgender and queer person. I'm from and was raised in Montgomery County, and I'm also a graduate of Montgomery County Public Schools. So I was a trans kid in Montgomery County Public Schools. And so it's really important to me that we continue to do this work, that we make Montgomery County as affirming a space and a place as possible. And today I'm also here in my capacity as the executive director of Trans Maryland, which is again part of the MoCo Pride family. And I'm also the chair of the Maryland Commission on LGBTQI+ Affairs. I'm also the first openly transgender chair of any Maryland commission, and also the first non-binary chair of any Maryland commission. I hope that one day we won't have to have these firsts also. And so pronouns are a really integral part of how people express themselves and communicate with one another, as you heard before from Vice President Stewart and Councilmember Mink. And And it really saddens me that folks in our community and in our broader society choose to double down on their fear of an evolving world, instead of choosing a very simple act to respect another person by using their affirming pronouns. Your next speaker will address some of the impacts of those fear-based decisions, and I'll take this opportunity to encourage you to step up or to start your allyship to the trans and non-binary community. You do not have to fully understand us in order to take these steps, but we do need individuals who are willing to share that they're eager to affirm us and that using our affirming pronouns is a simple act that is worthy of your time and your attention, and to try to combat the negative messages that surround us from all sides. And as I always do, I really like to take a moment to send a special message to trans people and anybody whose loved ones have refused to respect their pronouns, their names, have denied them shelter, food, or care simply for being themselves. Your worth is not measured by those individuals. There is a welcoming community here for you, and while we cannot ever make up for the hurts that you've experienced, we're here to catch you and to offer care and to offer resources. This translash, to quote Amara Jones's very successful podcast, very much recommend you check that out. This translash will end, and the trans community will be here, as we always have been, experiencing joy and gender euphoria. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lee, for those words, and now we'll have M.
Thank you all so much. Bear with me a moment here. I'm a therapist in training as well, so I never go anywhere without a clipboard, so get to see that today. But yes, as I mentioned earlier, my name is MPs. I use they, she, and Z pronouns. Again, I am Director of Research and Assessment at Trans Maryland and a Commissioner on the Maryland State Commission on LGBTQIA+ affairs. It is such a pleasure to be here today to celebrate International Pronouns Day with you all. This day, in the words of its founder, and also one of my dear personal mentors, Shige Sakurai, is to make respecting, sharing, and educating about personal pronouns commonplace, recognizing that referring to people by the pronouns they determine for themselves is basic human dignity. As a trans non-binary lifelong resident of Montgomery County, I actually am also a graduate of MCPS. I went to high school over at Richard Montgomery, drove past it this morning. Nice little reminder of those days. I have experienced firsthand the strides that we have made in recognizing and honoring the amazing diversity of our communities. As well, a team of researchers and community members that I was a part of recently conducted the 2023 Maryland Trans Survey, the largest survey of trans people in our state to date, which has given me the opportunity that I particularly appreciate to go in and see some of the experiences of our community across the state. Actually, earlier this year, we published our initial findings report. This is a flyer that's based on it, and I would encourage you all to check it out as it discusses a lot of the different experiences where, again, we see that theme of the strides that we've made as well as the disparities that folks continue to experience. You can find this on Trans Maryland's website, and if you find me after this, I can also share it with you. But knowing that I was coming here today to talk about pronouns, I went ahead and pulled the data specifically from the Montgomery County folks in our sample. And in that subsample of participants from this county, we saw over 40 gender identity terms and over 10 different pronoun sets represented in our data set. As well, we saw that 45% of the sample used more than one pronoun, such as myself. This is exciting. It shows that people in our county are experiencing the basic freedom to define themselves more expansively, to begin to live more openly and authentically in who they are. And at the same time, we know that things are not perfect. When asked a qualitative question about what would you want your county officials to know about the needs of the local trans community, several of the participants in Montgomery County pointed out a lack of trans health providers and gender-affirming care practices in our county, as well as being unable to find affirming primary or specialty care. Others noted the need for more accessible and affordable housing and gender-inclusive public facilities. Others still discussed the need for more safety and inclusion in MCPS for trans young people. In the words of one participant, at a time when trans rights are under attack, trans people need to be able to come to welcoming places like Montgomery County. As we celebrate International Pronouns Day, it is important we recognize that we all benefit from an inclusive community. A community where we show our love and care for one another through our policies and practices. A community where the humanity and dignity of each person is cherished. A community where everyone truly experiences the right to thrive. So thank you for being here today.
Thank you, Em, for those words and all your work. And thank you to all the folks up here. I think we could spend the whole morning talking about the amazing work that's being done here and the work that we still have to do. But we will read the proclamation now. I'll start. Whereas International Pronouns Day began in 2018 and takes place on the third Wednesday of October in order to make respecting, sharing, and educating about personal pronouns a standard practice, and
Whereas, just as we don't want to assume a person's ethnicity or race by appearance or name, it is important not to make assumptions about the gender identity of another person based on that person's appearance or name. And
whereas referring to people by the pronouns they determine for themselves is basic to human dignity, it not only shows that we recognize others for who they are, but is also a sign of respect and courtesy. And
whereas being referred to by the wrong pronoun particularly affects transgender and gender nonconforming people. And
whereas we encourage elected officials and residents to consider how they can help normalize the practice of sharing pronouns, such as including them in correspondence. And
whereas Montgomery County takes pride in being a welcoming, caring, and diverse community that strives to uphold individuals' human right to dignity. Together, we can transform society to celebrate people's multiple intersecting identities.
Now, therefore, be it resolved that the County Council of Montgomery County, Maryland hereby recognizes October 16th, 2024 as International Pronouns Day, presented this day by myself, Council Vice President Kate Stewart, and Council Member Kristen Mink, and Council President Andrew Friedson on behalf of the entire Montgomery County Council. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. We'll take a picture, and please grab a button if you need it.